I would request Advocate Aditya Joshi to please address the gathering.
Good evening all. I hope everyone is awake. Yeah. So today's honorable chief guest, Shri Chandrakant Dada Patil, Minister of Higher Technical Education, I wish him a very happy birthday today. Today's guest of honor, Shri Rajesh Tope sir, Shri Prataprao ji Pawar, Shri Rajesh Pande ji, Dr. Vinod Mohitkar, and Vishwesh Kulkarni sir. Now all of us here have come for the launch, or I can say the relaunch of the Learn and Earn scheme. And I think I have been very closely associated with this scheme from 2010. And we ran into some sort of rough weather in maybe from 2015 to 2020. But I think after everything, as on today, I can definitely say that this scheme is legal, valid. And I must appreciate one thing, that it started with Rajesh Tope sir, and Chandrakant Dada Patil sir has taken it forward. So one thing we are rest assured about, that the government, whether it be any government, they really want to take this scheme forward and see to it that from a most populous country, we become the most educated country and the most employable country. I think we must give them a very round, of applause for this. Before we came to address this gathering, I think we had a small conversation. And I think from the conversation with all these dignitaries, I could gather one thing, that the intention that you want to implement the scheme is more important. So when the courts will look at this scheme, the court will look first at how you intend to interpret this, how you intend to use the scheme, and then it will interpret whatever has to be interpreted. One thing I must proudly say about Yashaswi and Vishwesh Kulkarni sir is that their intentions were noble, their intentions were right, and that is why they could succeed before the Provident Fund authorities. And I think what is very important is that the Learn and Earn scheme was declared to be legal and valid by the Provident Fund authorities, and therefore now we can safely assume that we can go ahead and make this scheme a success. Now, and very important is that this scheme was a pilot project of the government. So the success of this scheme is very important for the industry also, because this was something very innovative that was started. Now, what were the findings of the Provident Fund authorities? Because I am sure practically everybody wants to know that what the findings were. So the Provident Fund authorities said that students were treated as apprentices under the Apprentice Act, and stipend did not attract the provisions of the Provident Fund Act. And what did we submit to the Provident Fund authorities, or Yashaswi submitted? Yashaswi submitted the hall tickets, mark list, stipend, it submitted the notification. So it had each and every document, and that is why I say that the scheme has to be implemented in letter and spirit, in the right spirit. And it is not only the duty of the, you can say Yashaswi, but it is also the duty of the industry to implement it in the right letter and spirit. The next thing that the EPFO has said, so EPFO has cleared only Yashaswi. Please understand that. And it is not a blanket order for every, other, person who has been given. So it is only Yashaswi whose name has been cleared. And therefore, now what the industry has to look into? The industry has to see that you engage the trainee for the course that which he is pursuing for the relevant industry. And that is very important. You cannot engage him in other course and take him in wherever you wish to, because that will be scrutinized. And also the trainee engagement of students should be for the purposes not other than what have been in the specified course. So though ESI and PF is not applicable, yet the industry will have to see to it that they provide all the health and benefit facilities to the students in accordance with those Factory Act clauses. And please go through clause number 17 of the notification, where the government has taken ample care of the students. So there is no possibility that you will ever, you can use this scheme like a contract labor scheme. So since the minister is here, I will like to, what happened earlier? I can tell you that there was a false propaganda against this scheme. And what happened was that for 5 years, we had to face tremendous litigation. I was there, and there were various other councils. And after 5 years, in 2010, what happened is that the courts said, the PF authorities said that the scheme is legal and valid. So for 5 years, we had to run all places to show, to defend the government scheme. And at the end of the day, the scheme was defended properly. But we had to fall prey to this false propaganda. So now my request to the Honorable Minister would be that since now the courts have also declared this scheme is right, it is correct, I think that anyone using this false propaganda should not be entertained. And there is one thing that was lacking. There was some difference in coordination between the Labor Ministry and the Skill Development Ministry. So my request to the Honorable Ministry would be that if there could be some sort of coordination, because when we approach the labor authorities, they say that no, this is a thing of the Skill Development Ministry. So that is where we face the problem. Skilled manpower has always been an initiative of the government. So my submission would be that the problem is that the government authorities, that the Deputy Labour Commissioner or the Labour Commissioner, they are the face of the government. Now, in order to make this scheme a success, it is necessary that they should be given little bit power and protection, because what happens is that in order for a false propaganda, 100 people come, out of which 10 people are genuine, 90 people are there. But, if the government could support those government officers a little, they would be strong enough to repel those kind of false people who make false complaints. So, and also one more thing, when the Honorable Central Minister had come, I had at that time also requested that something like an advance ruling, if it can be done, where there are various, nowadays we see that there is some interpretation and it is from retrospective effect. So the industries have to face a burden. So something can be done for retrospective effect. I think maybe some council can be quasi-judicial authority, anything can be done, what the government feels right. So that is, so at the end, to conclude, I will just like to say that I think after 4 or 5 years at the end, we have realized that his scheme legal hai, valid hai, after so much of scrutiny, after so much of fights, after so much. So now it is the time to implement the scheme of the government in letter and spirit and make it a success. It is for the industry to do it. The government has given you the scheme, but it is now for the industry to implement it. You need not worry about the courts, because I am there. And plus you need to implement it and listen to me, because this is the free advice I am giving you for the first and the last time. Thank you very much.